more over here at HTM Sports. How's everybody doing this fine evening, man? So, hey, first and foremost, I wanted to apologize. Me and landlord did go live earlier, but I was a bit distracted. I had a couple things I had to handle on my lunch break, but I got y'all undivided attention this time around, man. So, hey, I appreciate everybody for tapping in with me, rocking with your boy over here. And y'all see the title, man. We're gonna talk about these rumors that's circulating. They say that the Dallas Cowboys are looking to add a key weapon, a play. Well, the word was playmaker, right? The key word that they used in the rumor is they want to add a playmaker, right? So we'll see what they talking about, man. And then I wanted to talk about a player that we mentioned earlier when we were talking about guys that the Dallas Cowboys brought in for combine meetings that they met with during the combine, and that is one Emmanuel Forbes, who is a certified ball hawk, and he might be one of the better prospects in the draft. He's not, he doesn't have a first round grade or anything like that, but Emmanuel Forbes is definitely a guy to watch for, and I'd actually got enticed by the thought of adding him to the Dallas Cowboys. So with all that said, everybody that's tapping in, please go ahead, hit the like, share, subscribe button, right? Share the content, try to get some more people in here for us, man. And also, if you haven't, I will drop a link for donations in the chat box. I'm gonna do that now. If you find it in your hearts to do so, it is in there, and I'm tagging it to the top. Okay. Hey, you really took the words right out of my mouth about Forbes. So I think I'll touch on Forbes first because I'm really excited to talk about Emmanuel Forbes, man. So like Emmanuel Forbes is a defensive back. He is a boundary cornerback, and he played his college career at Mississippi State. So he actually is from the same alma mater as our starting quarterback Dak Prescott. They both attended Mississippi State, and there's a lot of things that I like about Emmanuel Forbes, man. There's a lot of things I like about Emmanuel Forbes. Like my guy Jason Gear just came in and said like he reminded me of Dig, right? And he said that he gets picks and he takes it to the house. That is not an understatement, right? Because Emmanuel Forbes, in his career, he is a cornerback that has 14 career interceptions, right, in his college career. That's a lot of picks, especially for somebody that played in a conference like the SEC. Yeah, that is a lot of picks. And he mentioned that he is a guy that takes the ball back for touchdowns a lot. That is not an understatement either. In his career, he has six, pick sixes for scores. Double R, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you for tapping in with me, brother. So yeah, like Emmanuel Forbes is a dog, right? And the comparisons to Trayvon Diggs, you know, they are, they're justified. He's a very aggressive corner. And honestly, that is a strength of his and also a weakness of his. He is a cornerback that is going to take chances. He's going to jump routes, right? He's going to try and jump in the air, high point the ball. At the point of attack. He when the ball is in the air, Emmanuel Forbes is the kind of cornerback that believes, the ball is his. It's the same mindset that Trayvon Diggs has. So Emmanuel Forbes on the other side of Trayvon Diggs, that's a very enticing prospect. I've talked a lot about wanting to add a veteran corner, right? We talked about adding Jalen Ramsey, doing things like that. But he is a very good prospect. And if we aren't able to add a proven veteran, he is somebody I would like for us to bring in. And I'm a number guys, man. I can't let an opportunity to break down analytics and stuff like that pass me by. So I'm gonna get his grades pull up. I'm gonna get his numbers in front of us. We'll go through it, see what he did year by year, and we'll rock out like that. Let's see. Hey, what's up with y'all, man? Call him out there. Ade Tamamawa. Look, Yeah, I ain't gonna pronounce this man's name right at all, man. So I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna get his name right. The guy y'all talk about in the comments. Ran a 4.49 and 282 pounds, can play inside and outside. Okay. And there's never such thing as having too many pass rushers. There's never such thing as having too many pass rushers. So, I'll look at more in depth on these guys and what they did at the combine, their numbers and their film. We're gonna start doing some pre-draft shows with Landlord. So we'll have the film then to match with the numbers, and then you can for like the grades that PFF give, you got to take those with a grain of salt, right? So the numbers are what the numbers are, right? In terms of like yards surrendered, sacks, things like that. Those are what they are. But like when they had when like these sites had their own grading scales, it's best it's best to look at the film yourself and come up with your own opinion. And sometimes it be right on. Sometimes you watch the film and like, dang, that he played bad this game. You look at the grade, he graded out badly. All right, that matches. Then sometimes they look like they played pretty decent on film. The grade doesn't says they played bad, and then that's a red flag right there. So it's a case by case basis. Like it's case by case basis with the film. Well, with the with the grading skills that some of these sites have. All right. And I'm going to actually read you his draft profile first. I'm actually going to read you his draft profile. All right. So these are his strengths. These are the strengths of Emmanuel Forbes. Right. His length. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it word for word. These are not what. This is not what I'm saying. This is what the experts are saying about the kid. His length and leaping ability allow him to high point the ball and make plays. Forbes would have had bigger interception numbers in college had opposing quarterbacks not gone out their way to avoid him. And that's saying a lot because this is a guy that has 14 career interceptions. And that's a lot for anybody. There are players that play their entire college careers and never sniffed 14 interceptions. And he had that in just these last 3 years. All right. So shows good instincts when facing the action in zone coverage. Forbes is a total ball hawk with elite ball skills. Has a record 6 pick sixes during his college career. So I knew that the 6 pick sixes that he had, was a big deal. But what I did not know was that's a record, right? I did not know that the 6 pick sixes that he have are actually NCAA record. So that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, numbers ain't everything, but yeah, I got a fresh retwist courtesy of the wife. She just hooked me up before I got on here. Hey, Michael Lockhart, what's up with you? Mickey, what's up with you? But yeah, numbers aren't everything, but that's why I try to give the full context, right? I try to give the numbers and the context because if I you can skew things either way, right? You can skew things in your favor if you just use numbers and you manipulate the time frame or you manipulate the games you want to look at and things like that. So I try to give all the numbers, right, year to year, game to game, and we graded we graded and we look at it in that concept, right? So where were we? All right, we already said he was a total ball hawk. Dominates in contested catch situations and combines decent length and elite leaping ability with excellent timing, enabling him to get his hands on the ball. Right. So, like I said, 14 interceptions. He's a lot of these times he's taking the ball away from people out of the air, taking the ball out of their hands. Right. So that's what you like to look at. And look, this is one that people that are down on Trayvon Diggs. Y'all would like this, right? Because y'all say to Trayvon Diggs can't tackle, right? His scouting report, Emmanuel Forbes said he is excellent in the run game. He shows safety like skills in tracking backs out of the backfield. He plays much more physically than you would expect, given his 180-pound frame. So, for guys who say that, you know, Trayvon Diggs does not tackle, right? Well, this is a cornerback that actually tackles. And listen, Trayvon Diggs doesn't really have to tackle. A cornerback tackling is extra because, that what you got safeties for, that what you have linebackers for, so on and so forth. Hey, good evening, Miss Charlene. I appreciate you for coming over and spending some time with us. Emmanuel House 44 is Nixon. Yeah, he is a very willing tackler. He is a very willing tackler. All right, let's see. Can track the ball downfield and gets his head around when playing in trail position. And he shows excellent ball skills when breaking on a route. He's a plus tackler in run support as well. Because when they do these scouting reports, sometimes it sounds like they're repeating themselves. I'm not gonna lie. When they do these scouting reports, a lot of this sounds like they regurgitate the same thing and say it in a different way to try to sound smarter. I know because I used to do that on my college papers. Like, dang, I gotta get to 500 words. Let me say the same thing I said like this though. Throw them curveball. But nah, for real though. Let's see. Take a look. Very fluid mover with decent speed, and his link allows him to cover effectively downfield. Okay. Flashes elite ball skills for it, has the fluidity and change of direction ability to mirror quicker receivers underneath. So those are all of the positives about him, right? There's not too much you can say. If you like Trayvon Diggs, right, with the upside, we're only talking about the upside and the turnover making ability and things like that. If you like players like Trayvon Diggs, then you would like a prospect like Emmanuel Forbes, right? Because they do a lot of the same things. They're both ball hawks. They both have good ability to track the ball in the air. It's hard to beat these guys consistently. You give them enough opportunities, they will get their hands on the ball. So there are some very key similarities in between the two of them. But let's take a look because there's always a yin and a yang. So we're going to take a look at the weaknesses that they have listed for Emmanuel Forbes. Has a limited frame, looks even leaner than his listed 180 pounds. It's unlikely he'll be able to continue to play with the same aggressive style in the NFL and stay healthy. So he's a guy on the smaller side when you actually look at like the weight he has on his body, right? They said he's listed at 180 pounds. He looks smaller than that. So he's a very small corner. Not small in his height, right? He's an even 6 foot tall, probably 6'1" in cleats. So like he's not like a short guy, but he does not have the body type. To they at least they don't believe that he has the body type to consistently stay healthy, right? And people have been wrong about that before, right? Because we seen plenty of smaller defensive backs come in and play, you know, good football, have long careers and things along those lines. Let me check back with the chat real quick. DJ Turner be the next guy I want after Forbes. You know what? Since you brought him up after I finish breaking down Forbes stuff, we'll take a look at Turner. I'm not too familiar with Turner, so we'll chop up about him and see what conclusion we come to. At this point, Forbes can get out muscled. He also might be susceptible to catch and run plays. He'll give effort in run support, but he's going to struggle to get off blocks against physical outside receivers. Okay, so they don't think he has the strength, but necessarily maybe. A good off-season program might be able to change that, so we'll see. His time speed is only average, although we've rarely seen him beaten stride for stride by top wide receivers in the SEC. Needs to develop a better understanding of route combinations and better overall vision. Takes too many poor angles to the ball carrier and often looks undisciplined and over aggressive as a tackler in the run game. His appetite for crashing down against the run game came and went in college, and he's likely to get walled off easily by bigger receivers. Emmanuel Forbes. So this is the summary for this, right? So we said the good, we said the bad, and this is going to be the overall. And this is going to be the overall summary for it, right? So there's a bunch of good things he has, and the main thing that they're concerned about with him, just from reading this, is his size, right? Because he's so small, will he be able to, you know, come down and play the style of play he's been playing, that he was in the college level and the NFL level, right? Will he be able to get off the blocks? Will he be able to tackle and run support, right? Will he be able to, effectively, play press coverage against these bigger wide receivers? So those are questions that that we have about Emmanuel Forbes. And judging by this, they says Emmanuel Forbes is an athletic prospect with excellent tight man coverage skills and good overall length, who's aggressive in run defense and a real ball hawk. He, however, looks to have only average timed speed and is very slight at just 180 pounds, limiting his ability to dominate long term physically at the next level. Right? The combine will be huge for Forbes, where he'll have a chance to put doubts over his speed to bed. If he runs well, expect his stock to be elevated to a second round selection. If not, he'll likely still be gone by the end of day two in 2023 NFL draft. So that is the complete summary on Emmanuel Forbes. So that is the complete summary on Emmanuel Forbes. So what do y'all think about that? I gave you the stats. 14 career interceptions, 6 career pick sixes, which is actually an NCAA record. That I come to find out. How do y'all in the chat feel about the idea of adding Emmanuel Forbes to the Dallas Cowboys? They think, depending on his combine, he can rise as high as a second round pick, or he might stay as a third round pick because they have him with a third round grade right now, just based on his size. But if you look at everything else, right, what he actually did in college, you know, you can see why a team would take a risk and draft him, even with the question marks at being 180 pounds. And then this is the beautiful thing about it: he is undersized in terms of weight. It's not like he's a short guy. It's not like he's a guy that's 5'7" doing these things. Brian Kite said numbers and facts. Hey man, I try. I try. I try. All good, DC. Faux Life X. I'm jumping chats over in Boss also. Oh yeah, definitely support the brother Boss, man. He always puts out great content. Always put out great content, man. So yeah, I definitely would want to draft him, right? And I know that we talked about Joey Porter Jr. earlier, who was a great prospect. He has the size, the athleticism, the length, everything you would want. He had the pedigree, but there's a very, very good chance that he is not there, right? Joey Porter Jr. is probably not going to make it to pick 26. Depending on how things fall, Ringo might not even make it to pick 26, And there are plenty of good cornerbacks, in this draft class. Gonzalez, who I know for a fact is probably going to be a top 10 pick, all the other different guys. But, I like the prospect of Emmanuel Forbes because Oh yeah, of course, man. Yeah, you part of the rich gang. You always do. You always support, man. So given what the numbers are, I would take it. And we he will be playing with one of the best front sevens in the National Football League, right? So he will have Michael Parsons. He'll have DeMarcus Lawrence. Armstrong, Sam Williams, all those guys that like putting the quarterback on their back and bringing pressure. Like he'll have them as support. So if there's any issues, he should be able to hold up on the back end. Yeah, and like Jason Garrett said, like Coach said, man, like he can gain 10 pounds. Like he gained about 10 pounds, 10, 15 pounds, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Like in my opinion, like Emmanuel Forbes, like there's too much that he does well for me to worry about him being a slightly undersized. Texans got second and 12th pick in first round. D'Amico Ryan will load Texas with weapons. Well, you got to hope for that, man. You got to hope for that. I mean, that's the best thing to do when you're trying to overcome, a season that was really a rebuild for y'all. That what you're gonna have to do is get quality talent at multiple spots during the draft. So and really, man, it's really gonna be the picks that y'all make in the mid and in the late rounds that will help y'all. Because it's easier. I'm not gonna say easier, but it's more likely for you to find good quality talent in the first round, right? Like outside of quarterback, like there are a lot of guys that usually pan out in the first round. At least nowadays because of all the scouting, you know, metrics, sports science, all the other stuff that they got. So a lot of these guys do pan out. But in team building, when you have as many holes as y'all usually have, then it's going to be the guys that can come in and actually be a starter that's in the fifth round. It's going to be the guy that had character issues that dropped in the third round, right? That you pick up and they're able to come in and contribute long term. So yeah, I hope that y'all are competitive. I hate to see any place in Texas be down, even the Texans. Samuel Jr. 180 pounds. He's a dog. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what do y'all think, man? Yay or nay in the comment box on Emmanuel Forbes? Like second round pick, I definitely would do that. Even and if he falls to the third still, if he doesn't have the combine people think he should have to elevate his draft, that's even better for us. That's even better for us. So yeah. So I hope he stays a third round prospect. Look at the run Bland. Like we got him in the fifth round. He's been a dog. Like when you put up numbers and you have the measurements and you have the statistics to back it up and you have the tape to back it up, it shouldn't matter, right? I think people put too much stock in the combine anyway. Eastside Harold is a Texans fan, but he be cool and he be coming in chopping it up with us, man. He's our neighborhood troll, so let Eastside Harold make it. I fool with Eastside. I fool with Eastside. So what was the name of the other cornerback you had wanted us to look at? Because I think you said his name was Trent. I think you said Trent. So let me see how I can get that pulled up. Let's take a look. Oh, Turner. DJ Turner. Okay, that's the boy's name. I just said Trent. Let's see how I can get him pulled up. All right, while I'm getting him pulled up, give me 1 second. Take him at 58 if you think you can get a starting caliber wide receiver at 90. I want us to get a starting caliber wide receiver in free agency, right? That's where I want us to get our starting caliber wide receiver. Spend a little bit of money, right? You don't want to go in here and like you did last year. Because remember, we all thought that Jalen Tolbert was a starting caliber wide receiver, right? Because we had him projected to be getting significant play, taking significant snaps, right? Contributing in a meaningful way in his rookie year. And he was a top 100 pick. Did absolutely nothing for the team. So instead of having a repeat of that, where we put all the weight of the world, right? We put the entire weight of the world on a kid who was just getting free lunch, like I like to say. Let's just go out and get somebody that's been doing it for years and years at this point, right? DJ Chark used to be a Pro Bowl wide receiver. The only knock on Chark is he has not been healthy. We already spoke on how I believe the Dallas Cowboys can keep wide receivers healthy, keep players in general healthy. So like there is no red flags in us signing guys like that. It's him. Yeah, I definitely would stay away from Kenny Galladay. And listen, for the right price, I would sign Odell Beckham. I'm not signing Odell Beckham for $20+ million because there are other wide receivers I could give that kind of money to and get way better dollar value from. But if Odell Beckham wants to play for $10 million or something like that, bring him in. I'll take Odell Beckham for about 10 $11 million a year. I would. I would because he has that pedigree. He is still a playmaker when he's healthy. And look, if you sign him for that much money, you will still have some more money to go out and get better players. So you don't have to solely rely on Odell Beckham when you sign him for cheap enough. You sign Odell Beckham 10, 11, $12 million maybe, right? Then you can still go out there and add, other, good quality wide receivers. You can go out there and go get. Hmm, I don't know about Jacoby Myers. Really, man, like I know that it might not happen. But man, I really want the Dallas Cowboys to trade for Jerry Judy. I want them to trade for DeAndre Hopkins. I want them to go and swing for the fences. And listen, if they sign Bobby Wagner and sign DJ Chark, I understand not going out and getting D Hop or getting Cooks or getting Jerry Judy or Stephon Diggs, right? But the Dallas Cowboys have to do something to improve the wide receiver position in a big way. Because even with the added intention of running the ball, West Coast style offense, you're still going to be throwing the ball about 31, 32 times a game. So when you throw the ball, I need guys that can make the most out of those attempts. I need guys who can turn the slants into house calls. I need guys who can turn, negative plays into positive yardage. Right. I need guys along those lines that can do things like that. Right. So with that being said, I would take the risk of going of trading away some draft capital to get a proven playmaker. And matter of fact, that's one of the things that the Dallas Cowboys said that they wanted. Cowboys looking to add a weapon, looking to add a playmaker. Let me see if I can find the actual statement. I'll read that to y'all, and I'll get back on the draft in just a second. But let's cover that since we're talking about this one, right? So let's see. We'll get this little article pulled up. NFZ, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you for tapping in with me. Hey, Marquez Hardison, what's up, brother? I appreciate you for tapping in with me, my boy. Okay. Okay, so this is the article by Michael Gilkin. All right, so one, the article states they are really expecting to re-sign Tony Pollard. So I like that. I like adding Tony Pollard back into the fold. He led the team in total touchdowns with 12. Right, Zeke led the team with total rushing touchdown with 12, and they were both tied for total touchdowns by a skill position player on the team with 12. Right, but he also led the team in rushing. He led the team in explosive runs. Oh, so I love to bring the prospect of bringing back Tony Pollard. I would like him to be used a little bit more in the passing game, and I'm also projecting what he will be able to do in this West Coast offense that does throw a lot of balls to running backs. So I would like to have Tony Pollard back for that. He's a good pass catching running back. He's very explosive. He has a wide receiver background, right? Because in Memphis, he was a return specialist slash slot receiver, and then he moonlighted as a running back. He actually has more He actually had more receptions in college than he did carries. I know this sounds crazy, but he had more receptions in college than he did carries because he was playing mostly slot and kick return. Because he did set the NCAA record with return touchdowns. So yeah, I like the prospect of that. But back on what the article was saying. But the Cowboys are not stopping there. They are focused on making an impactful addition to the offense. They say Hopkins going soon for a second rounder. I would take him. I would take him. So when they talk about making it an impactful move, that's the kind of impact I'm looking for. Give up your second round pick for DeAndre Hopkins, so you can have. And listen, it's crazy because DeAndre Hopkins not too long ago was considered the best wide receiver in the National Football League. I don't want people to sleep on that. Like he was really considered one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the National Football League. He has already joined the 10,000 receiving yards club. He's probably going. He if he is productive a couple more years, he might have a valid chance of making the Hall of Fame. So DeAndre Hopkins is a dog that still has plenty left in the tank. He only played 9 games last season, but he still had 717 yards. And to put that in perspective, Michael Gallup, right, only had 400 and something yards, and he played in 14 games. Oh yeah, DeAndre Hopkins definitely has plenty left in the tank. And you got to also put it into this context when you're talking about adding a player like DeAndre Hopkins. He is not going to be asked to beat cornerback number one, right? He's not going to be up against the best cornerback on the team. He's going to be beating up on teams cornerback number twos. So like he has plenty in the tank to be a wide receiver number two. And with the role that he can play on this team, there will be plenty of nights where he might look better than CeeDee Lamb because CeeDee Lamb is probably going to be matched up against the best defender, and then DeAndre Hopkins will be matched up against cornerback two on the opposite side. So because of the matchups and because of his veteran savvy and his ability, he might go crazy a couple nights, right? So I think that DeAndre Hopkins has a lot left in the tank, especially if he's just going to be out here playing cornerback number two. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think D Hop's only like 30 or 31 at the most. In fact, let me see. Let me just verify that. Yeah, he's just 30. DeAndre Hopkins does not turn 31 until June. So DeAndre Hopkins, he still got plenty left in the tank. He still has plenty left in the tank. So yeah, I would do it. And it makes perfect sense. You should be able to get that out of first or second round wide receiver. Well, that's not necessarily the case, right? That is not necessarily the case. Because we seen plenty of guys. So we seen plenty of guys, get drafted high and don't give you anything. There's plenty of guys that get drafted and it takes years for them to develop. And look, I'm last time we drafted a wide receiver in the top 100, they couldn't even get lined up on sides correctly, right? There's some people that had Jalen Tolbert as being a second round prospect, and he did nothing for you. So and right, I'm not taking any chances. I know for a fact. And listen, DeAndre Hopkins got that 700 yards in 9 games. It's not like he had 17 games to get that. At the pace that DeAndre Hopkins was going, right? Let's do some math, right? Let's do some simple math. DeAndre Hopkins has 717 yards in 9 games. So he had and he averaged 79.6 yards a game. So if he played a full 17 game season, right, at that same yards per game clip, DeAndre Hopkins would have ended last season with 1,354 yards. So, that's projecting, right? But this is a guy that puts up numbers like this routinely. So if DeAndre Hopkins played a full 17 games season at the pace he was going last year to get the yardage that he did get, he would have had 1,354 yards. So yeah, I definitely would still go and get DeAndre Hopkins. And listen, if you can't do DeAndre Hopkins, get Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a guy that's possibly going to be on the trading block around the same age. And listen, this is a guy who has never not had 1,000 yard season. He has been 1,000 yard receiver from the day that he got into the NFL. Mike Evans has. So there are options that there are teams that are not going to be competitive this year, and they know it. They look right now in preseason. They know, right? So there are guys that you could trade for. And listen, even if it's not DeAndre Hopkins, like the Dallas Cowboys should be very, they should be very aggressive in trying to improve. And if you want to go young, right, and have a guy that you can pair with CeeDee Lamb for the next 4 to 5 years, then you can trade for Jerry Jeudy. And listen, there is no rule that we can't sign multiple of these guys. Like I like the prospect of McCall Hardman too because of his speed. He has played a lot of postseason football, so he knows what to do. He knows how to win. So I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on him because he won't be that expensive. He will not be that expensive to sign him. McCall Hardman would. So there's no rule that says we can't get multiple of these guys. Like you should be able to revamp the entire offensive line. I mean, not offensive line. You should be able to revamp the entire wide receiving room. You're not helping with it. McCall Hardman is good for what which is good for what you're going to ask him to do. Because in this offense, McCall Hardman would be wide receiver 3. But I listen. Before I bring back Noah Brown, I definitely would bring in McCall Hardman. Right? If we don't do anything but upgrade wide receiver 3, let's say we're stuck with Michael Gallup, and then CeeDee Lamb is a dog, right? So let's say we're stuck with that pairing. All right, we still need 2 more receivers because T.Y. Hilton's not on the team and Noah Brown is technically not on the team. So instead of bringing Noah Brown back for whatever money you were going to bring him back for, you could sign somebody like McCall Hardman, who is still very young. He just got drafted in 2019. He's only 24 years old, right? He was an all pro special teamer back in 2019. Has 4.3 speed, so I definitely would kick the tires on him. Like McCall Hardman is not a bad pickup, and when you look at his career numbers, right, he was never option 1. He was always like a option 3, option 4 kind of guy. Mm-hmm. Because of that, like hell, his production is fine. Because look at this: 538 yards, 560 yards, 693 yards, things like that. Right? That's a better stretch than Noah Brown ever thought about having. Right? So even if you can't upgrade over Michael Gallup, you can at least upgrade. He says he has a history of enhanced drug abuse. Yes. So what Miss Evans is referencing is he had a suspension for PEDs this past season, and that's why he only was able to play in 9 games. So Yeah, that is sort of a red flag, but it really actually depends on the situation because a lot of times they change what these players can take so often. He might have just been taking something anabolic to heal an injury, and then it popped up on the testing. You never really know. You never really know. And yeah, like like Coach said, it happened. It happened once. So I understand what she was saying though. Like it's happened recently, so I know it's in everybody's mind. But like he said, outside of last year when he had the dirty test, like he's been a very dependable wide receiver. Doesn't get hurt often. Usually 1,000 yard receiver most of the time. So I would take a flyer on him if he became available. I just need him to be available in the playoffs mostly, right? Because honestly, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, like winning in the regular season is going to set you up, for home court advantage and things like that. But the most important thing going forward is having these players available in the postseason, right? You need to have these guys available, ready to roll in the postseason because we're trying to get to the NFC Championship game at bare minimum. Oh no, it wasn't. It was some. It was like a performance enhancement. I don't know if it was steroids or anything like that, but like they're very hush hush with that because there's a lot there's things that me and you can take. They sell at GNC that NFL players can't take, right? So I don't know if he got caught doing steroids or human growth hormone or anything like that. But I do know that he failed a PED test. And Leon said facts. I still like T.Y. Hilton, but I'm from Indy. Hey, I like T.Y. Hilton too. Like he saved our season with that 3rd and 30 conversion. Like T.Y. Hilton is still a good player, but you we need to try to upgrade different spots around the team, right? Because Noah Brown cannot be allowed to be wide receiver 2 for you. He can't be allowed to be wide receiver 3 for you. Like Noah Brown needs to be wide receiver 5, and wide receiver 4 at the bare minimum. Yeah, and listen, I definitely would take Ty over Noah Brown. Ain't no knock on Noah Brown. He went out there last year and played the best football of his career. The problem is Noah Brown's best football is not good enough. Like he is a career special teams guy. Yeah, and listen, I would sign Ty towards the end of the season, the same way that you brought him in. Towards the end of the season last year. That would be what you would do this year. Like and Ty, he finna be 34 years old. He ain't trying to go through no training camp, all the other stuff. He gonna be like every other veteran player. They gonna sit it out. Pick a team that's competing, and then he gonna sign there. Hey, what's up with you, Dave? I appreciate you tapping in with me, my brother. So yeah, man. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys definitely have to look at their options, and evaluate where they can improve, along wide receiver. We know for a fact they're not going to go out and get anybody that's better than CD Lamb because it's not possible. You can't give up that kind of assets to go out and get somebody like that. But you can try and improve over Michael Gallup, right? There are plenty of guys that fit that bill. There's rumors that DK Metcalf could be on the trading block. I would definitely take a guy like DK Metcalf in Dallas to be wide receiver 2, right? There's people talk about Stephon Diggs. I don't think that can happen until they get the Trayvon Diggs situation under control. You can't be playing with Trayvon Diggs money and then try to bring in his big brother because he ain't gonna play that. So you're gonna have to get everything right with Trayvon Diggs before you even think about trying to go out after somebody like Stephon, right? So that's not likely right now. And then you look around, Jerry Judy really makes a lot of sense. He's a guy that is an obvious upgrade over Michael Gallup right now. right? Michael Gallup hasn't had 900 yards in the last two seasons combined. And Jerry Judy, even though he was playing in, with Russell Wilson, who was going through the worst season of his life, he still was able to get 900 yards receiving in that offense with a bad play caller, with bad quarterback play and all that. So yeah, I definitely would like for them to go out their way to aggressively improve the wide receiver position, especially with this new form of offense we running. So, but that's just how I feel about that in that regard. Robbie Anderson. Yeah, Robbie Anderson actually just got released. So Robbie Anderson is somebody that can definitely be added. I don't think he'll cost a lot of money because he did next to nothing at his last stop. So let me take a look at Robbie. I don't, is Robbie Anderson that old? Is he 30? Yeah, Robbie Anderson is finna be 30. Okay. Yeah, he's 29 right now. He got drafted in 2016. Yeah, look, Robbie Anderson only had 7 receptions for 76 yards last year with the Cardinals, no touchdowns. Before he was with the Panthers, and he had 13 catches, and this is the same in the same year, mind you. So he had 13 catches with the Panthers, 206 yards with them, and one touchdown. So altogether in 2022, he had 20 catches for only 282 yards and one touchdown. So I don't think he has a market for anybody. If you want to bring him in and be wide receiver four, go for it. I'm not too worried about about the wide receiver four because he'll be a low cap hit signing for wherever he signs after the performance he just put out. Nah, I refuse to go back with Noah Brown. Listen, just because Noah Brown had a good season with us, I'm not going to sit here and say that these other wide receivers who have a history of being better than Noah Brown, all of a sudden, are worse than him now. Because listen, Robbie Anderson ain't never played with a quarterback like Dak Prescott, right? He ain't never played with a quarterback that good. Because even when he went to Arizona, Kyler Murray was hurt. So Robbie Anderson, he has played football with Sam Darnold, the litany of backup quarterbacks that the Jets had because they got a revolving door of quarterbacks over there, right? He played with Sam Darnold again because he ended up in Carolina. Played with Baker Mayfield, who actually got given his walking papers in Carolina. Then he played with the backups in Arizona. So Robbie Anderson ain't never played with a good quarterback. He ain't never played with a good quarterback. So I will give Robbie Anderson a chance. Before I bring back Noah Brown. I'm not gonna lie to you, Kinfolk. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. He does maturity always. Antonio's issue. Mm. Oh, Antonio Callaway. Okay, okay. See, I didn't know Antonio Callaway had maturity issues. I just thought he wasn't that good. But yeah, but hey, we were talking about adding another corner in the draft. Y'all have wanted me to look at DJ Turner. I know I'm jumping all over the place. Y'all forgive me, but that's how my mind works, man. Like I be on the verge of talking about some. Hold on, this the same player? I don't think this is the same player. Hold on. I would take Skinny Robbie over Noah. You right? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely would take Robbie Anderson over him. We got to address the DT position. Yes, and listen, I think we got to address the defensive tackle position in free agency. We got to address the defensive tackle position in free agency because same thing I just said. You can't expect a child to come off out of college and beat up on a grown man with a wife, kid, mortgage. He probably got a side chick. Like this man out here playing for his livelihood. So man, I don't trust no defensive tackle fresh out off of college to come out there and beat and be effective against NFL guards. So if you want to actually stop the run, you're gonna need to go out and get somebody. Yeah, a proven run stuffer. I would take Dalvin Tomlinson. Right, the last 2 seasons he has not been that good against the run, but he has a long history of being a great run stuffer. So maybe it's the scheme he was in. The Minnesota Vikings overall defense was not good at all. They were putrid. That's why they were in so many shootouts throughout the year. So maybe it's the players around Dalvin Tomlinson that has led to him declining, right? But he has multiple years of great production against the run. He's still relatively young. He will be cheaper than somebody like the Run Payne would have been. And he has played some postseason football. I know that they didn't win, right? I know the Vikings did not win, but they went to the playoffs. They've been going to the playoffs a lot. When the Giants were decent, he was there too. So I would like to take a flyer on Dalvin Tomlinson. And what would it hurt though? Right? He's obviously better than Neville Gallimore. He's obviously better than Quentin Bohannon, right? So you improve immediately by adding Dalvin Tomlinson. So yeah, I definitely will go out and get somebody like Dalvin Tomlinson, pay him what you need to pay him to get him on the team for multiple years, so you can retain his services, and then you can find some defensive tackle depth behind him in the draft. But the main guy that he be trying to stop the run is the guy that been in the league, you know, that's playing for a job. Yeah, NOC said possible. Yeah, I definitely would take him. I definitely would take him. Like my main free agent target that I actually wanted was to run Payne, but then he got tagged. So I didn't get a chance to get disappointed by the Dallas Cowboys this time. The defensive tackle for the Dolphins, Christian Wilkins, had like 92 tackles last year. Yeah, 92 tackles for a defensive tackle is a lot. That's a lot of tackles. That's a lot of tackles for anybody. He said, "What happened to Big Bo and Gallimore? They started the season strong, then fell off a cliff. Man, I don't know. I don't know. And really, I ain't gonna say they started the season strong because Leonard Fournette had 100 rushing yard game his entire season, and it was against the Dallas Cowboys week 1. So they were shaky even then. They put together a decent stretch, you know, around week 3 to like week whatever. Right, I have to go back and look at the numbers, but they were they were getting to work. They were getting to business. The sad thing is Jonathan Hankins was our best graded run defender, and he was barely on the team for us. Like we were really desperate to try and ensure that run defense last season. Garvin Dexter be a nice defensive tackle to draft. Where's Garvin Dexter from? Let me pull him up. Oh, he's from Florida. Okay. See, 6'6", 313 pounds. He ran an official time of 4.88, so he has some athleticism to him. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at his stats in college. All right, let's see. Didn't grade out great for the 2022 season, but he had a great 2021 season, so maybe it's an outlier. He played 13 games. He played in 682 snaps. He had 347 pass rushing snaps. He had 335 run uh, snaps against the run. He had 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, 20 hurries, and 1 batted pass. He aligned in the A gap 46 times. He aligned in the B gap 515 times. He aligned over tackle 107 times, outside of the tackle 9 times, and he was off the ball 5 times. All right. Um, Pass rushing grade was a 55.2. True pass set pass rush grade was a 58.8. Run stop rate was a 7.7. His highest graded game was against Kentucky last season. He graded out as a 79.9. His lowest graded game of the season was against the Florida State Seminoles, which was a 51.8. Trends. All right, his draft. And in mock drafts, we are the team that drafts him the most. They run 100 simulations. We actually are the team that drafts him the most at 18% of the time. Not, huge numbers in terms of all the probabilities and possibilities that happen, but the Dallas Cowboys in these simulations are the team that end up with him the most. All right. He usually drafted, all right, analysis. First look. Okay. So I don't know. Like I said, looking at raw numbers on a defensive tackle is never going to help for the most part, unless they have a gang of sacks. Then like I know for a fact that they're like a pass rushing defensive tackle, move the pocket, things like that. With defensive tackles, you're gonna have to look at the film. You're gonna have to look at the film with defensive tackles. Round 3, but I think he tested too well today. Okay, he said, "Oh, you Jason Gary." He said you never drafted him. Okay, okay, but yeah, man. What's some other players that come to mind for y'all? What's some other players y'all would want us to draft? And then I want y'all to remember me and landlord will be doing a draft show pretty soon. We'll be going over different prospects, and we'll be hitting it from both angles. We will have the raw numbers, and we will look at the advanced analytics. And landlord will also have the tape, right? So we're going to try and match it up. Does the tape match the numbers, right? Does the tape show the production that the numbers show, or is the tape better than the numbers show? Right? It works both ways. So we will be doing a draft show like that. We will give y'all a heads up so y'all can tune in and tap in with us. We got that in the works right now. We might have the first one up off the ground Saturday, but I will check in with y'all and let y'all know how that goes. All right. So yeah. So who is somebody else that y'all looking at? Cause we just I talked about the guy I wanted. Right. I already talked about Emmanuel Forbes. Being the guy I want us to draft. We have he falls in the later rounds. I think he would be the best suited guy to receive our third round pick if we keep it. So who else y'all want to look at? Mozzie Smith, Will McDonald, Andrew Voorhees. Andrew Voorhees sounds like he gangster because of his last name. Jason Downs, A.T. Perry. Now, I like Josh Downs. I like the prospect of Josh Downs. I just don't know, in the grand scheme of things, if other wide receivers are still on the board, who would I take, over him? Kaliji Kansey, defensive tackle is my pick. Okay. So, Mr. Evans, we'll take a look at him real quick then, since he's your pick. We'll pull up the advanced numbers on him. And if I'm not mistaken, Kansey ran the fastest 40 time today among all defensive tackles. So let's take a look at him. Let's take a look. Elijah Cansey. All right. All right. So Elijah Cansey is listed as 6 foot, 280 pounds. All right. He is a defensive tackle by trade, and he is made history today. He has the fastest 40 time of any defensive tackle in combine history. Today he ran a 4.67. All right. So let's take a look at his numbers. I'm gonna start with just ESPN. We'll start with the surface level numbers, and then we're gonna move forward. And listen, you know, this is a guy who is. I'm not calling him Aaron Donald because Aaron Donald is a once in a generational kind of player. But this is a guy who is similar in the terms that he is a undersized defensive tackle that uses his leverage, his strength, and his speed to overwhelm centers and guards. Right. So this guy had 7 sacks in back-to-back seasons. From the defensive tackle position. That's amazing production. He had last year he had 31 total tackles, 18 solos, 13 assisted. He ended the season with 7 sacks. So let's take a look. Let's go further. Let's go further. Let's see if we can find anything else. All right. Jason Garrett said Kansas really good. Don't have much on this conversation. Don't watch a lot of college football. Hey, I don't watch a lot. I don't watch a lot of college football either, man. I watch the Arkansas Razorbacks because I'm from Arkansas. I'm from a small town called El Dorado, Arkansas. So I watch all the Arkansas Razorback games. So that is that's my wheelhouse right there. That's why everybody's been beating the table. You know, they've been beating the table for one of our players to go in the first round, right? And Drew Saunders, and I don't see it. I don't think that we have a player that deserves to go in the first round. We're being honest, but I can see why people are falling in love with him because of his size, his athleticism. He had 9.5 sacks, right? He had over 100 tackles. He balled, but just for context, that was his only good season. He transferred from Alabama. At Alabama, he wasn't even playing the same position. He was a defensive end. He came to Arkansas, became an outside linebacker, and he blossomed. Right. So I can see, why people fall in love with his athleticism and the production that he had this year. But I think it's crazy to draft him in the first round when all you have is 1 year of production from him in a new position that he just started playing. And I'll be honest with you, we did not have a good defense, even with Drew Sanders, right? Like, we were horrible. We were a horrible defense by any standards, especially SEC standards. So that's why I don't actually see it. Now I hope that somebody goes out there, signs him in the first round. He played at Arkansas, so I want nothing but the best for him. But I think the Dallas Cowboys drafting Drew Sanders at number 26 will be an overdraft. I don't see it. I see second round pick at the most because I think there's way better players. All right, and now I'm finna give. Now I'm finna look at the draft report on the boy. I'm gonna look at his draft report, and then we'll. And no, that's really what I like to do, man. Because I am only well versed with Arkansas and by default the SEC players that we have to play and things along those lines. And think about it, there's hundreds of college schools, so and there is no way that we're gonna know all these kids. There's no way we're gonna know all these kids. So that's why I go out the way. That's why I pull up the statistics on the kids. That's why I pull up their draft reports. You know, now that landlord has some tape on these kids. That's why we going into a little bit more in depth when we're talking about them. Because I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all like I watch every single college game. I'm like I know all these kids. That's just not possible, and that's not true. I never lie to y'all like that. So that's why I go out my way to look at these draft profiles, look at the advanced analytics, and things like that to try and paint a clearer picture. And then of course, then we backdoor with the film. All right, so let me get his draft profile pulled up. Okay, it's loading. It's loading in now because I'm very interested. Now I know that this is a guy. I like him and I like Monty Smith. If we had to use a first round pick on defensive tackle, like those are the two for me. But let's see. It's trying to load. Might be having some issues with the storm in my area, so I might have to try to pull it up on my phone and read it to y'all. All right. Elijah Cansey. Okay. I got it. It took forever in a day, but I appreciate y'all for bearing with me while I get this while I was getting this pulled up. Let's see. There you go. All right. Okay. So this is a guy that is very decorated. Like 2022, he had all kinds of awards and honors. He was American Football Coach Association All American First Team, Associated Press All American First Team, Football Writers Association of America All American First Teams. Like he made first team ESPN All American First Team, Pro Football Focus All American First Team. So he went. So he had a bunch. He had a bunch of recognition this year. All right. So this is his strengths. These are the strengths they have listed here on his draft profile. Right. So it says right here, hugely productive and experienced one gap defensive tackle who has experience both at nose tackle and defensive tackle. Made massive 19 sacks over the past 3 years from the inside. That's production. That is production. And this is a defensive tackle, man. Like a defensive tackle getting that kind of production in the passing game is unheard of. Like defensive tackles that do that in the NFL, they're all pro players. Cansey is strong enough in the lower body to hold up at the point of attack and displays a good feel as a grappler in the phone booth, consistently getting blockers off balance before sending them to the ground. Has outstanding overall body control and uses his limited stature to his advantage. Plays with a low pad level and creates impressive leverage. Has all the pass rush moves you would expect from a seasoned NFL veteran and elite athletic skills. Made Bruce Feldman's freak list at number 7. He wrote, "This was a great find by Panthers defensive line coach Charlie Patridge, who has deep ties around South Florida. 2021, Cansey earned first team All ACC honors after producing 13 tackles for loss and 7 sacks. So this is a guy that plays a lot in the backfield, right? So he does a lot of damage in the backfield. He's getting back there. He's causing havoc. Pat Narduzzi says Cansey reminds him of Panthers legend Aaron Donald. Did I just say that I wasn't going to compare this man to Aaron Donald? And then the experts went out their way, right, to make the comparison. And I get that they both played at the same college. They both are the same kind of defensive tackle. So I understand why they would make the comparison. But yeah, like they're comparing to Aaron Donald. And while that is pretty hefty talk, no doubt this guy is special too. Norduzzi told the Athletics this month that Cansey has been clock running a 4.69. And I guess that's crazy because he actually ran the same 40 time that they projected him to run. They projected him to run a 4.69 as a defensive tackle, and he actually went out there and ran that same exact 40 time. So the hype around him was not false. You might see some stuff out there floating around that says this guy runs this and that, and then they be a full 2 seconds slower than that. So kudos to them. Like the hype is real. At his size, he has a 31 vertical jump, 31 and a half inch vertical jump, and he bench pressed 425 pounds. So the guy's a monster. And listen, hey, if he's there at number 26, which I don't think he will be, but he makes it all the way down to number 26 with the comparisons he has, with all the awards he got in college, with how well he's played. Let's see if we can turn him to Aaron Donald for the Dallas Cowboys. It's been listen. We have the Dallas Cowboys. I saw this when I was searching the web and stuff, man. The Dallas Cowboys have not drafted a defensive tackle in the first round since 1991. It was 1991 was the last time the Dallas Cowboys drafted a defensive tackle in the first round. It's a position that they always seem to neglect. And it's wild, man, because the Dallas Cowboys want to be a run dominant team while not trying to address their inability to stop the run. Because, listen, by wanting to be a run first offense, the Dallas Cowboys, you know, are already acknowledging how potent that can be, to a defense. How it can wear out a defense, how you can use it to control the time of possession. You can use it to shorten the game. You can use it to, you know, limit the amount of turnovers that you're allowing yourself to have by not putting the ball in harm's way by passing down the field. So, the Dallas Cowboys, by wanting to be a run first team, acknowledges all that. Well, it's crazy that they had that train of thought, and they are not doing anything to prevent teams from running against them. So that's what I think is really crazy about that. That's what I think is really crazy about that. So no, I would like him if he makes it to pick number 26. I would get him. He has a bunch of glowing reviews, glowing reports. So I don't see a reason not to draft somebody with his skill set and his production. So yeah, man. Oh, hold on, hold on. Matter of fact, and listen, I read all that off, and I didn't even finish. I didn't even finish it yet. I didn't even finish all his policies they got listed yet. I just had to take a break. There's still half a page left of stuff that they say good about this boy. All right, with the ability to hold up at the point of attack as a run defender, he is remarkably instinctive. So he's not just a pass rusher. Apparently, he looked like he has some chops. Judging by his draft profile, in the run game. All right, so let's see. He explodes off the line with a quick first step with agile feet to counter inside and closing bursts to finish plays. Despite his size, he's strong at the point of attack against the run, able to hold his own when asked to play inside and battle double teams. Cansey has outstanding lateral movement skills and is quick to slip blocks with speed to cover a lot of ground in pursuit. Challenges inside with quickness and strong hands. Run and chase defender who can leave a mark. He's a high effort pass rusher who shows good initial quickness and the ability to beat blockers to the inside. While he has been exclusively an interior at the college level, he could be seen as possible outside rusher at the NFL level. I don't agree with that. If he's that good, you leave him there because you already have undersized defensive tackles that were great. Like we had one on our team before in Ratliff. Do y'all remember Ratliff? Like he was a dominant defensive tackle, even though he was undersized. He said Emmanuel Forbes has no long speed. He can be burnt. Yeah, that might be true. But like a guy who can get his hand on 14 balls, who has those kind of instincts, you can take a chance on him. If you think he can get burnt deep, give him safety help sometimes. But listen, there's plenty of defensive backs that don't have the next level long speed that's been in the NFL and been productive, right? Because they said that about Richard Sherman that he didn't have the long speed. It just really gonna depend. It's just really gonna depend on the system you put him in. And in the system that we run, we're gonna run cover one robber, or we're gonna run cover three. Then he will actually fit this. And we did touch on that a bit earlier, my guy, Tavis, because like we were reading his draft report. And, that is an issue that they said that he might have is his long speed. And they did say whether he where he I'm up here Bushmouth. Whether he rises or falls is going to be dependent on the combine, right? So we'll see. We'll see what he runs. If he run, and honestly, a secret between all of us here, the 40 time does not actually dictate a player's game speed. There are guys who can run 4.4s and 4.3s and shorts, and they cannot move like that when you actually put on the pads and you got them out there on that artificial surface. So like game speed and 40 time is totally different. No, I'm gonna let y'all in on that secret. So the report that says that his draft stock could rise or fall depending on his 40 time. Like I hate that train of thought. I hate that train of thought because hey Tavis, if you turn the tape on and he's slow, like in pads, I don't care what he looks like. Out here running on grass, right? So like if he doesn't have good long speed, he just doesn't have good long speed. Like he's probably gonna have to have to play off a little bit at the next level, or he's gonna have to knock the wide receiver off and play bump and run. He's gonna have to get inside their hips so they can't get up to their maximum speed. So it's just gonna be some like scheme fit. It's gonna be scheme fit with Emmanuel. Like he has high upside, but there are some questions. He's undersized. He's only 180 pounds. There's questions about his long speed, but I really do like the kid. Like he set the NCAA record with 6 pick sixes, which I did not know was a thing. I did not know that was the record. I saw that statistic and it blew my mind. But I didn't know, even though that as remarkable as it sounded, I didn't know that was a record. So third round, I definitely would take a flyer on him. DJ Turner is supposed to run less than 4.3. DJ Turner already in the league, ain't he? Cause I thought DJ Turner, yeah, DJ Turner got drafted last year. Oh wait, there's two DJ Turners. Yeah, yeah. Because see, there's a wide receiver that plays for the Raiders right now. They DJ Turner. He got drafted last year. No, he got drafted in no, he got drafted in 2021. Yeah, so this DJ Turner is a defensive back from Michigan. Okay, so let's pull him up. He's a defensive back from Michigan. Height varies. Some have him listed as 5'11". Some have him listed as 6 foot tall. Right. So let's take a look at his production. DJ Turner 2. Draft profile. All right, let's take a look at his scouting reports as we're going through some guys. No, I'm interested to see. He said defensive backs run 40s tomorrow. We'll see. All right, so I'm definitely gonna be interested in the 40 time for that. So let's take a look. They're projecting DJ Turner to run a 4.28. I'm not sure if that is actually possible, if that's something that's going to happen, but we will find out. We will find out. So let's take a look at his. All right, so let's see. He has a lot of notable honors and awards himself. He's two-time All Big Ten selection. He was an honorable mention. Back in 2021, shared Most Improved Player on Defense honors. All right, he was a 4-year letterman. Okay, so he got a pretty decent resume himself. So this is his scouting report, right? And I like doing it like this, raw, because I listen. Because like I said, there's too many guys coming out of college for me to know all of them. So I like doing it in this manner because I'm learning stuff while some of y'all are learning stuff, and some of y'all are already versed with these players. So it's a good learning experience for everybody involved. So I like looking at what the supposed experts say because they get it wrong just as much as anybody. All right, so they say his strengths are his super athleticism. He has outstanding during his final 2 years at Michigan, where he allowed a quarterback rating when targeted of just 62.2. All right, so when targeted, they did not have a lot of success against him. Can get up on the line of scrimmage and deliver a solid punch early in routes, then use that quickness to shadow or back off and close quickly when the ball comes out. Turner can flip his hips and run with good top end speed and the length to make plays on the ball. Can run and blanket even the fastest receivers. Deep possesses great instincts along with timing. He made Bruce Feldman's freaks list, ranked number 31. He wrote he is the fastest guy on the Wolverines, having hit 23.07 mile per hour on the GPS and run a 4.2840 out of a 2-point stance, no less. His three-cone time is even more stunning. He clocked a 6.29 this offseason, and strength coaches think he has a good shot at besting the combine record of 6.28. Ooh, so this dude is an athlete. So even if you people want to knock him for being 5'11", like you cannot knock right his other athletic prowess. Like when you move like that, right, and you have coverage grade that good, you can't knock it. And I do not want I do not want the Dallas Cowboys to be shy about drafting a cornerback just because of their size. Because when we did that last time, we ended up with Boss Man Fat. Right? Instead, and listen, like the Dallas Cowboys do that way too often. Like you do not have to be 6'2", 6'1", whatever, to be a good outside boundary cornerback. Yeah, like you said, that's special athleticism right there. If he really runs a 4.28 and all these good coverage grades that he has, like you can't pass that up, just because he doesn't have the height requirement for you. That has burnt us way too many times. Because the Dallas Cowboys have drafted a bunch of tall, sorry cornerbacks, and and let them play before they went out and got somebody like a Asante Samuel Jr. Like a Asante Samuel Jr. had like 3 or 4 interceptions in a playoff game, and we out here celebrating Boss Man Fat making plays on special teams, right? And that's the player we could have had, but we chose Boss Man Fat, over him because he fit the prototypical look for cornerback in Dallas. And that is something that we have to get away from. That's something we have to get away from. Right. And look, Nahshon Wright still has a chance to be a decent cornerback. Right. He was not horrible in the limited attempts that he had to actually play for us. But like he's a guy that's going to need a lot more reps. Like Nahshon Wright was always going to be a prospect. He was always gonna be have to be a guy that you would have to bring along slowly. But like I don't think Nashawn Wright is gonna get enough reps in Dallas for us to see the fruits of us drafting him. Like he might go somewhere else, and when he plays out of necessity, it happens. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, dog. But hey, man, I've been on here rambling for I don't know how long, man. I've been on here for an hour and 25. I know I wanted to come in and give y'all some good content. So I will be going live again tomorrow. We'll be going live again doing the lunch hour show at about 12 o'clock my time in Texas. If you're on the West Coast, that'll be about 10 o'clock. So please come in, tap in. Everybody, if you have not shared the content or you have not hit the like button or subscribe, please do that on your way out. And hey, I appreciate y'all for everything, man. So hey, I'm gonna get at y'all, and y'all have a blessed one. Peace. Hey, thank you. Hey, thank you, Jason Garrett. I appreciate you.